Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Season 6, Episode 13 of the phenomenon known to mankind. It's Saturday afternoon's main event. If you do not know who I am, dumb, stupid, blind, plain irrelevant, whatever the case may be with your dumb and stupid life, I suggest you go back to school, go into your local library, get the biggest dictionary you can possibly find, preferably, if my choice, Merriam-Webster, and look me up under the word phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the phenomenal one, and of course, here on Saturday afternoon's main event, I'm not alone because I have my co-host, my comrade, compadre, the limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun who is not having a hard time holding his alligators down. So please, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, give me two claps and a peep snatch.
Woo! Yes, we are here after 2 weeks. Very good couple of weeks in pro wrestling. There was a pay-per-view. There is another one happening next week. It's a premium live event. So yeah, we're starting to ramp up the activity levels in the world of wrestling. So hopefully you've been able to join us, and we thank you for joining us for another week in the wild, wacky world that is professional wrestling.
Wild and wacky indeed, peeps. Yes, as peeps said, We appreciate you guys going ahead and coming in and tuning in with us, whether you be on Twitch, whether you be on Twitter, or whether you be on YouTube. We appreciate all the love and support that you guys continue to give week in and week out. So without further ado, peeps, shall we just go ahead and get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, sounds like the move. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you do know that here on Saturday afternoon's main event, when you hear this, it only means one thing and one thing only. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Wrestling Crash Course. Let's fire it up, okay?
Yes.
Now I'm feeling a bit go. Okay, let's go. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I am 20. Okay? 20. And to think that I never thought I would see the day. Total non-stop action. And we're not talking about Tess and Albert, okay? We're talking about Glory Day TNA.
Yes.
Peeps, from what I'm hearing, from the mouth of the one and only owner of TNA Wrestling currently right now, Scott D'Amore, TNA's back.
Yes. Total
nonstop action wrestling is back. But not yet, ladies and gentlemen, 2024, but who gives a crap? It's now, okay?
Yes.
The future is now. Guys, I don't think you get the calamity of this. Those of us that grew up watching Samoa Joe, AJ Styles. This is just crazy to me. Like, peeps, are we really living in the day where we used to watch Petey Williams in a Canadian Destroyer? Nah, guys, I'm continuing on, okay? We're not done. We're not done, okay? Old instant classic Christian Cage, okay?
Yes.
Jeff Hardy, and I'm not talking Hardy during Brother Willow sequences. I'm talking Hardy Victory Road Sting TNA, okay?
Yes.
We're talking main event Mafia, Kurt Angle, Booker T. Oh my God, peeps!
Scott Steiner and Kevin Nash, and it goes on and on and on.
Booker T getting into the ring, doing his own commentary. Oh my God, Booker T stopping a man. He's stopping a man. He's stopping a man. Oh wait, he's trying to take a drink. Oh, he's stopping.
The beautiful people. We all remember that. ODB.
Oh my God.
Tracy Brooks.
Peeps.
Frankie Kazarian. Christopher Daniels. Even when he was doing Curryman, Shark Boy, etc. The list goes on and on. From the originals. Yes. AMC, the America's Most Wanted, AMW. One of the greatest tag teams.
Chris Sabin.
Yes.
I mean, peeps,
yes.
I don't know how much. I mean, Suicide.
Yes.
All right, so it's funny got that it might have been Austin Aries. I mean, for God's sakes.
Yes. The amount of talent that has come through from when this company started as TNA NWA, as an offshoot of the NWA as a regional promotion that Jeff and Jerry Jarrett started, and then morphed from there to TNA, even though they had the NWA World Championship license to be exclusively with TNA, and then becoming their own company, becoming TNA Wrestling, then becoming TNA as they evolved, and then became Global Force Wrestling after they started to lose a little more money. They were going downhill. We know Dixie Carter, she tried to have that competition going with the WWE. That backfired, and then we saw that fall apart. But there was about a good 4-year span or 5-year span where Impact was on some level, if not monetarily, but in the mind share of the wrestling fans, where AEW is right now. Now, like I said before, they didn't have anywhere near the promotion behind it and the money, but they did a pretty good job for 2006, 2007, 2008, in that span, where they were looked at as, wow, they could actually give them a run, to the extent that when fans got tired of the nonsense that the WWE was doing, there were fans loudly chanting TNA during Monday Night Raw, audibly heard on television. So that tells you that TNA has the mind share of the fans and its affection, including the six-sided ring, which I always loved watching wrestlers try to come up with different impact points of where they can do certain moves. But we've gone from that to TNA, to then Global Force Wrestling, which was the brainchild of Jeff Jarrett trying to add something else to it, then becoming Impact Wrestling, where they are now. And now we hear Scott D'Amore and the rest of this company is going to now become TNA Wrestling. It has tradition, well over 20 years. All of the great feuds, all of the great wrestling that we've seen, the matches. We remember Elix Skipper doing the Hurricane Rana off the top of it in that Ultimate X cage match. We've seen so many things happen. And a lot of wrestlers that are in the WWE now and in AEW and certain other companies now owe a lot of their careers to how they got their either start or were groomed to become who they are by being in TNA Wrestling. And now that TNA Wrestling is back in namesake and in marketing, let's just get the company back together and see where they go.
Spike TV. Let me stop. I'll shut up, guys. I'll shut up. No, just trying to get too quick with but Taekwon has something to say. Of course, Taekwon always likes to chime in. It's not too bad this time around, but I mean, hey, this is what Taekwon had to say. He's like, TNA has as much life as Terry Schiavone.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Name change don't mean jack. Peeps, he says that they were cheering for have mercy. Have mercy. Okay.
Yeah.
Name one. Bro, do you really have to be pulling Uncle Ruckus shenanigans this early in the morning? This show must be sponsored by Anthem. TNA drew pandemic crowds 20 years early. They got Bully Ray Beta venting in 2023. I mean, it's not a bad thing. Let's honestly be true. I mean, it could
now,
be.
We're not going to say that Impact Wrestling, until they become TNA, is 100% perfect. And we're not even going to, fake it as if that's the case. But what we are going to bring up is the fact that it's another company that brings competition, not only for AEW, but for WWE as far as being an alternative. And the pay-per-view that they did, which is Bound for Glory, which is their WrestleMania, in a very smaller crowd, but it had a lot of energy. The show was really good.
Energy.
And I believe, and we talked about this off air before we did the show, Speedball Mike Bailey and Will Ospreay. I don't care what happens. Will Ospreay can have a wrestling match with a can of bug spray, and it will still be great. But this is not to throw any shade on Mike Bailey, but Mike Bailey was the complete opposite that they needed to have that clash of styles, and they put on almost a 20-minute match, and it was a really great way to showcase Impact Wrestling and the talent that they have. That was a tremendous match that they had at the pay-per-view.
Oh, definitely. But peeps, I mean, for God's sakes, TNA is one thing. Long live TNA, long live Impact Wrestling. But
yes,
there's one person that we still had to say. Long live Lexis King.
Oh, yes.
Now, look.
Yes.
Guys, y'all know that I'm one thing for going ahead and making a pro wrestler great. I'm one thing for making the talent pop. I'm one thing for, how can I put this? Enhancing the talent to a certain degree that once they make their debut, everybody's hooked on it.
Yes.
Peeps, I don't know if it was just me, but see, with the cops even around your area going ahead and bringing up this, they know where I'm going with this.
Exactly.
Peeps, I enjoyed it. To an extent.
Mm-hmm.
The entrance was hokey. The build-up, just to make it like that, now, damn it. Come on, peeps. Look, Brian Pillman Jr. wasn't utilized as much in AEW. You bring him to WWE, you wonder what the heck are they going to do with the kid. Come around a couple of weeks back, they go ahead and they start putting out the vignettes. They have the man speak.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this guy's a star.
And it looks like he also got some veneers. I don't remember him ever having such pearly white teeth before.
Veneers a lineup? Peeps,
yes.
The man is fully Negro.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, have mercy. The beard lines up, the taper. I mean, come.
Yes. He was lined up pretty good. And I think in ring, that's where the difference is. The way that they brought him in, like you said, it was not well done to the extent of how they built him. Exactly. But once he got in the ring and he faced Dante Chen, whoa, he was violent and vicious in that match.
And he says that he's nothing like his father. The kid's a loose cannon.
Yes.
I mean, for God's sakes, trying to say that you're nothing like your father, changing your full name, just to notice that you're still just like him. It's like Cody Rhodes saying in his one promo a good long time ago, what did he say again, peeps? It was more like, those who try to go ahead and avoid their destiny, like they go ahead and they see it more the moment they try to get away from it. Yeah. It was something along those lines. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now remember, those who see their destiny try to take the long road away to avoid it. That's what it was.
Yes.
And peeps, I think that's what they're trying to go ahead and do with Pillman, in a sense of he's trying to get away from under the shadow of his father.
Yes.
But for some reason, I think Lexis King is just not going to be the name that's going to hold like long. It might hold during NXT times. If he hits the main roster, I'm really thinking Brian Pillman Jr. is the move, because it's like, peeps, by the time he hits main roster, I think the storyline within NXT is that he's going to make the realization that he is just like him. You're trying your hardest not to go ahead and be in the shadow, but now you're not in the shadows, but you're like your father. So, look, be about business.
You're denying who you are. How long can you do that before it destroys your career? That's kind of the storyline angle that they probably are going at. And I think for the first, I guess you figure he's going to be in NXT at least 6 months to kind of get him acclimated to the WWE. Make sure that everything is running the way it's supposed to for him. So, yeah, I think that'll work going forward. But they got to build something else extra as they change it and make sure that as they build toward who they want him to be portrayed as on the main roster, they're going to revisit this. And it's going to be a recurring theme going forward.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Peace. I don't know how to feel about this one. Damn, it's like one. He's nothing like his father. He's still alive. Damn.
Uh,
Damn. Okay, I digress. First one of the day,
the
ladies
first
and
one of the day.
ladies and gentlemen.
Uh,
Um, from Lexus King, we move to another two young. Well, I mean, the other person's not too young, but you'll probably get the point. Yeah, somebody that's trying to rise out of the shadows of being the next Umaga, that's what I think. And you got the king of WWE himself. No, we're not talking Roman Reigns. No, we're not talking Bret the Hitman Hart. No, we are not talking what's his face? Stone Cold Steve Austin, the British Bulldog, the Junkyard Dog, any person who held King of the Ring from 1990 to 2001. Yeah, we're talking about John Cena.
Oh, don't you mean John Cena? As Santino Morello used to call him? John Cena.
God bless
John Cena.
Before we even get into this, I have to say, Santino's daughter, Ariana Grace, peeps, she's just like, she's literally like her dad.
Yes.
Like, the comedic part of sports entertainment lives with her. I don't know if you saw her interview that she had where she was literally talking on and on and on. And then, the announcer goes ahead and stops her, interrupts her. And then she kind of just like looks. Doesn't seem like she gets mad or anything. And then she says something stupid right after. She just walks away. I sat there and I just looked at her. I was just like,
yes.
Jesus, Santino did well. He did well. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
It continues.
Yes, it does. Jesus Christ. But still, with Solo and Cena, wherever we're going with this, if it can be something along the lines of a Royal Rumble 2007 Last Man Standing match, and peeps, you know which match I'm talking about.
Yes.
If it can be something like that delivered at Crown Jewel, I will. What will I do? What can I do, peeps? Geez, something that won't go ahead and get me in trouble in 2023. Christ.
That's going to be tough in this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Very tough.
Jeez. Okay, you know what? I'll do indoor parkour. That's what I'll do. I'll start bouncing.
There you go.
For God's sakes. But
there you go.
I like where they're going with this. They're taking an approach to making Cena look like he doesn't have it no more. The fans were chanting, "You still got it," while he said, "What if I don't?" It's like the man.
If you've noticed, this is almost like a inverse of what they've been doing in AEW with a certain face-painted fellow that shall remain nameless, that has kind of hinted that what he may do by March. I don't know if you've noticed that, but they've been kind of making Cena hint like, well, I don't know how long I'm going to be wrestling.
Peeps. I don't. It's not really who shall not be named. It's not like we're literally pulling the Bret Hart of saying it's Bill Goldberg. You know what?
Yes.
That. It's okay, guys. You know who he's referring to. If you're not involved in current events or anything professional wrestling, let me just pull the Tony Schiavone out of my bag real quick. Thing kept right on straight. Okay, it's Sting.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, but yeah, peeps, continue.
See, we had to march around the 800-pound gorilla in the room.
Yes,
there you go.
There we go. Exactly right.
Yes.
But yes, with the storylines kind of intertwining in a sense where it's just like both of them are just like, okay, I guess we're closer to the end. Although I know it's not the end, it can't be the end. It's probably just the end due to the fact that SAG-AFTRA is just a piece of crap.
It's the end so far, as Homer Simpson would say.
Far, exactly. But peeps, going into Crown Jewel next week, we have this match, and honestly, this is where we truly see if Solo can hang. This is his measuring stick. Of course, we've seen Undertaker being used as a measuring stick for so long. And now with no Taker, no Edge, you only have Cena to go ahead and sit there and be like, you know what? This is the legend that we have to have Solo go ahead and go against. And it makes sense.
Yes.
It totally makes sense. I love it. I'm endeared to it. I want to see what happens next week. But honestly, if I'm on the right path of thinking, I am going to say that Cena is winning. Due to the reason why? Due to the reason that, peeps, Cena hasn't won a televised singles match since when?
That is true.
That's my sole reason. And no, Taekwon, we're not talking about measuring Solo stick. We're not a free PA podcast. Bro! Get the step in.
Yes.
If you don't let that Samoan finger him in the throat, shut up. This is why we can't have nice things. We have to put a muzzle on you, man. Jesus.
Yes. Yeah.
But still, peeps, this match right here, it's gonna be something.
Yes.
If this match doesn't steal the show, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's a bunch of matches on the card for this crown jewel that is more like, okay, now it feels like a Saudi WrestleMania more than a glorified Saudi house show that you get millions of dollars at.
They're treating it, as you can tell, the difference between Triple H and Vince. Vince was just booking all the stars for the Saudi audience so that they would have a big house show with a lot of spectacle. This actually has some substance to it. There's some meat on the bone for this particular show, and it has implications. It's not as if, well, Crown Jewel, you have maybe one match that means something. Every match on the card is going to mean something because it's going to lead to something just in a couple of weeks, because you figure next Saturday is Crown Jewel. Then you got the Survivor Series just right around the corner, just a couple of weeks afterwards. So you have to understand the thought process behind that. And you're thinking with Cena, I understand. The question is, are they going to do it in this way? Are we going to have Cena win just because of that thought process? He hasn't won a televised match since 2018 or whatever, however long they said it's been.
I mean, I can see it.
Or are you going to protect Solo? Because remember, Solo has only lost, I don't even think he's lost 5 matches in the year and change he's been on the main roster. So he did lose to Cody. He could feasibly lose to Cena, and it wouldn't hurt him because it's Cena. But does Solo need that win more than Cena does? And if this premium live event was taking place in America, where it was, in Florida, or if it was at the Garden, or if it was somewhere in California, then yeah, I would say that Solo would win, because it would be important to keep that. He has been one of the most protected stars the company has right now.
Yeah.
But in Saudi Arabia, the glitz and glamour and the fact that we don't know how long Cena is going to be here because of the strike, I could see Cena winning this match. And it would be in a way that was protected, that would make sense.
You're exactly right. So I feel that, okay, so I think we both on the same page of saying that Cena's going to go ahead and take this one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Right by me. Taekwon says, how can Solo defeat an Invisible Man? I mean, Triple H defeated Katie Vick and she was dead, so...
Well,
I'm so sorry,
you can't see either of them, so...
He stooped low. I had to stoop lower. It just makes sense.
I understand.
Phenom says, but Solo needs a W. No, he doesn't. Yes. No, I think not in the U.S.
I think so.
In the U.S., yes, but not in Saudi. I'm just saying. It would make sense if you were talking like this was a SummerSlam match. If you were talking like this was Survivor Series. If you were telling me that this was gonna be some type of match in the U.S. for a premium live event of that stature, then yes. But Saudi, we know how Saudi gets when it comes to its stars.
Yes.
When it comes to going ahead and having them go over. One of those things is definitely Cena. That's a dark horse. Okay. So you're never going to go ahead and sit there and say to yourself, okay, you know what? Nah, put him in a tag team match. Nah, do this. Nah, do that. If you're going to have Cena wrestle a match in Saudi with all the implications of knowing that he hasn't won a match in so long, especially when it comes to a singles match, then yeah, you're gonna have to go ahead and get this. You're gonna have to get the WC though. Send the crowd home happy, that type of thing. That's the type of stick that you're getting. So when it comes to that, he takes the W. If it comes down to, Survivor Series where it's the bloodline and maybe the two guys out of the Judgment Day, who's Finn and Damian against Cody, and some type of mix up with Cena and probably LA Knight and, like Cody and all these types of different other stars going one against the other. If you're going to have that, then look. Then you can tell me the bloodline takes that W. Solo probably going ahead and spearheading the whole thing, taking the W for the team. That's what I would think, right?
Yes.
But peeps, honestly, it's Saudi. So
but
that's
I'll give it an aside to where I think the Phenom may be wondering about as far as that win goes. The reason why you do something like that is if Solo loses to Cena, when we get back to America, what is the dynamic going to be between Reigns and Solo? Because remember, we're not that far removed from this implosion that happened with the bloodline. And it's only starting to warm up again because now we've gotten, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, Roman Reigns has come back after taking his hiatus for the last couple of months.
Peeps,
so
not if you use Jimmy Uso as the scapegoat.
And that's where I was going. If that's the case, Jimmy running the audibles that they keep calling it, you ran the play, you got the audible, you just made the wrong call, and he's the quarterback. There you go.
So if that's the case, then that's how I see Solo losing. It's not going to be some clean Cena go ahead and go for AA.
No. Yes.
Nah, I'm seeing Jimmy Uso going ahead and costing his little brother the match, and Solo sitting in the middle of the ring, looking at Jimmy as if it was The Rock looking at Rikishi, where Rikishi hit the "I did it for The Rock." That's
and I can see him sitting in the middle of the ring with his legs crossed, with his thumb out, looking at him like he's gonna stick him right in his eye.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So we'll see what goes on. Yeah. Hot Rod. Hey, Phenom. Did the New York Mets win last night at the World Series? My monitor went out. Seems like you're stuck.
Okay, Mr. Heenan.
Exactly. Shut up. Type 1.
Boy.
Dang implosions after talking about Saudi is hilarious. God.
Oh.
Yo, we're putting a muzzle on you, bro. Forget it. You're done. You're done.
Yes.
Tomato, man. Anywho.
Yes.
There we move to the next topic. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We talked about John Cena, the 16-time world champion. Now, of course, we do know that there's another 16-time world champion. On the other brand, Ric Flair. 16-time world champion.
Yes.
3-time WWE Hall of Famer. Grand Slam champion, I believe.
Yeah, he did win the tag team titles with Batista.
Did win the Intercontinental.
He won the Intercontinental Championship. He also won the tag team belts with, if I'm not mistaken, with Roddy Piper. Like, that was late in the game when they were doing the retirement thing with Flair.
U.S. title MVP. I don't think so. Did he?
He didn't win. He didn't win the U.S. title while he was in.
But he won that match.
He won the U.S. title when he was in WCW more than enough times.
I guess you can count that?
Yeah, if you want to, but that it wasn't part of the WWE at the time. So yeah.
Yeah, but he has had an ample amount of championship title reigns. Let's just put it like that.
Yes, so, he's won more championships than most people have teeth. Yeah. So yeah, you're 100% right.
So the originator of Space Mountain. I just knew it. I just do it.
Yes.
And the real limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun who's not having a hard time holding his alligators down. That is, of course, when Peeps Nate feels as if he has to go ahead and give away the moniker because it is originally
There you
his.
go.
Exactly.
Two claps. There you go.
Exactly right, Peeps. But Ric Flair appeared in All Elite Wrestling as Tony Khan's gift to the retiring Sting. Out comes Christian Cage. Christian Cage.
Boy.
Wow. This is Tony Khan, billionaire, decides to give you, Sting, Ric Flair, as some type of retirement gift. You know what I see that as, Sting? I see that as a cool suit, a watch, and a broken down old liver.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Christian really went in on that one. And
Then
who else is gonna come up with something like that?
exactly, but then proceeds to say, you know what? I do believe in certain things, but at this point, I really don't believe there's a God. Because if there was one, Ric Flair would have been dead 20 years ago.
Yeah. He was brutal.
This is Christian.
Yes. Christian, I tell you, Christian is on a level as a heel that I don't even. I think if he got into a program with MJF, that would really, really be good. I think that the tone of his promos seem to always factor around saying something derogatory about somebody's parents. Either he's talking about somebody's kids, he's talking about their mother sliding in the DMs, he's talking about your father not being alive, those are the kinds of things that as a heel work. Because every fan can identify with those insults. And most people, not all, but most people can identify. Did you just say something about my mother? Oh, did you say something about my father? Oh, it's fighting words. Those are the kinds of things that Christian evokes. And I was literally afraid after he started talking about Flair, he was going to say something about, he's going after fathers. I hope he doesn't say anything derogatory about. I'm pretty sure Reed was off bounds as far as Ric Flair's late son. Reed was off bounds, out of bounds.
You would have had Rick going ahead and having a whole heart attack, stroke. Yeah, he would have had it all.
Rick would have punched Tony Schiavone in the mouth. He would have chopped Sting. He'd have walked out of the ring, and that'd have been it. That would have been it.
Then he threw to his son-in-law Conrad on
yes.
Jesus. But yeah. So I don't know what the calamity is. Of course, we knew the rumors were that Tony wanted to sign Sting. What the hell am I saying? Ric Flair. But of course, due to the fact of the things that happen on Dark Side of the Ring, which we will not get into and we'll save for another episode.
Yes.
He decided not to go ahead and follow through with it. But now, seeing Rick there, you know what, peeps? I don't know what they're going to do with it. I would love to see what they're going to do with it. But in some way, shape, or form, if this ends with Ric Flair versus MJF for the AEW World Title in a $1 match, I am going after Tony Khan. And listen, I'm turning into Kane versus Jim Ross during that one interview on Raw in 03. Getting my gasoline, fucking it on the nuts, making sure he falls down, pouring gasoline on him, and set his ass on fire. Literally, forget it. I mean, Christ.
That's the last image I think most people want to see is a body on fire with blonde hair going woo woo, yeah, because it probably wouldn't even register. He'd probably just chop himself and the flame will go out and then he end up winning the match. So
hit the ropes, do the strut, look up, woo, stops for 1 second, looks down, just falls, just instantly does the little fake of falling.
Exactly.
Flops. I mean, God, Lord, this is what we think of, guys. Yo, This is great. Peeps and Flair ran through the same shit.
Wow.
Peeps, how does that feel? How does that feel? That was clever, but
wow.
He's
No comment.
Oh man. Oh man.
Wow.
That just happened. Okay.
Yes.
Moving on, right? Um,
Yes.
of course, from one evolution member to another, we move from the past and we look to the future. Of course, the future was now since like 2005, 2006. But you know what? Could be once again, because guess what? Randy Orton might be returning within a month.
Hmm.
Saying Survivor Series is the calling card, where they pull
Hmm.
back the curtain, play Rev's Theory's new version of Voices, and allow the Apex Predator to storm into the All-State Arena in Rosemont, Illinois, and make his
Hmm.
long-awaited return to the WWE. Peeps!
Hmm.
Of course, we know about the injuries. We know about everything that's been happening to Orton in the past year and change.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. It's been he hasn't been on television since last June. It's
Yup.
been like almost a year and a half. He's really had to take time off to
Crazy.
heal from the surgery and everything else. Wow.
That is insane. That is insane.
Yes.
Peeps. Is Orton back now the thing that WWE needs?
I don't think it's what they need, but it sure as heck doesn't hurt to have a bona fide Hall of Fame talent.
Definitely.
Guy who's been in this business himself 20 years. Someone who has literally won every championship there is to win outside of NXT, but that was when he was in OVW before it became NXT.
Mhm.
He is without question one of those, as Jim Ross would call them, those blue chippers that you build a company around. And he's one of those pieces. As if we can go ahead and talk about AEW's pillars, Randy Orton has been one of the WWE's pillars that they've built the younger talent on, and then he's given them a foundation for some of the newer guys that we see today.
Yup.
To have him back on as soon as the Survivor Series after the injuries that he's had, with all of the things he had to go through, which is kind of sacrificing a singles push to kind of help along his tag team with Matt Riddle, who is no longer in the WWE, claiming that that was probably the most fun that he's had in the business in a decade. And knowing that there was some real build there with that group, and there were real rapport, and they got a lot of chemistry together.
Yup.
But then that fell apart because of Orton's injury, and then he had to basically take care of himself. If he's healthy enough to be a factor in the WWE, whatever storyline that they go with, whatever side they plan on taking, and more importantly, which brand is he going to be on? Because I think that kind of sets a precedence of whether he's going to be a face or a heel. I think will depend on where they place him. If they put him on SmackDown, you could see him definitely as a face. But if you put him on Raw, he could be a tremendous heel. As we all know, he's a better heel than he is a face.
Mhm.
But going in, could you imagine him being a heel, being on Raw, and then kind of instigating another match with Seth Rollins, or having a couple of other matches that we could see there, or him with Jey Uso back and forth, maybe as a team, maybe, because there are a lot of variables that you can use with a Randy Orton on either show. So I think what Triple H has got to figure out is what brand is he going to be on that's going to utilize what he can do, and where do we go forward with the interchangeable parts of each storyline? Where do you place him?
Definitely right on that. Let's just give it a chance then, peeps. Let's see what they do.
Yes.
Let's see what they do. I'd really love to see what happens with that. Huh.
Yes.
You know what? But then there's one more person. Then there's one more person. My peeps.
Okay.
How do I put this? Okay. We talked about this at least a good number of times already. He's a cool one. He's definitely, he definitely has some cool type of personality to him. He's how do I put this, peeps? He's straight Adam Copeland pre AEW, if you get what I'm saying. He's been a 2-time Money in the Bank winner. Could be a bona fide Hall of Famer too if it were to ever come down to the chance. Because I mean, for God's sakes, they put Warrior in the Hall of Fame, they put Macho Man in the Hall of Fame. I think most definitely it would make sense for him to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying, that's just me. But aside from that, peeps, master of the Pepsi Plunge, man known to go ahead and hit the GTS. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about none other than Kenta. Guys, I'm
good one.
Please.
That was a good one.
Exactly.
That was a good one.
But,
yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, in all seriousness, I'm talking about CM Punk. Peeps.
Yes. Good old Charles Montgomery. Where have you been?
Exactly. So, peeps, we've seen it all. He went on radio this past week. Had a whole interview. The person asks, yo, so Phil, are you open to going back to WWE if the chance ever arised? This mother Canucker decides to go ahead and say something along the lines like this. Now look, peeps, I'm one to go ahead and sit there and always tell y'all when, I may be head over heels. But this is one of those moments where not only do I think I'm head over heels, I think I'm right on the money. Because ain't no way you're going to tell me this ain't going to happen. So this is what Punk said. And I quote, I don't want to burst anybody's bubble. I'm kind of just sitting at home and enjoying this beautiful Chicago weather. It was actually raining that day.
Yeah.
I have an injury in the family. My dog, Larry, blew his dog ACL. That definitely does. Crazy.
Yeah.
So his dog blew his dog ACL. I'm literally just spending my time with him. I know what that sounds crazy, but he is my son, and I take care of him and treat him as such. Phil, we didn't ask you about your dog or what you were going to be doing for the next couple of weeks. We asked you if you were ever going to want to go back to WWE if the chance ever arose. But yeah, you sugarcoated it. You kept the suspense, and you continue to have me fiend to see what the heck is going to happen at Survivor Series in a month. Peeps!
Yeah.
The more we look at it, the more that it seems evident that Survivor Series is going to be bonkers. WWE has literally gotten rid of the stage and opened up the rest of the seats in the all-stated arena, which means that Survivor Series is looking to have at least 16,000 chanting CM Punk. I'm just saying, if they were to
they were going to chant it irregardless.
Irregardless, yeah. But now
he could still be in AEW. They'd still chant CM Punk's name. So
exactly. So, but peeps, with all of this now, do we think that it might be a little more imminent? I'm just saying.
I think this is a lot of pure grade A scat. That's what I'm thinking. Yes, strife, chaos, angst, and turmoil. I'm going to tell you the reason why I say that. We've seen for the last, I guess I could say the last month and a half, the WWE has been kind of hinting in promos and certain things where they have wrestlers are saying certain things that kind of allude to somebody from Chicago showing up, a piece of a promo that CM Punk might have said, something along the lines that may remind you of a storyline that he might have made a quote in. And the one person that I will say is masterful in doing these kinds of things and integrating them into storylines that you may not even think about, and maybe the average fan may not even think about it, is Triple H. And we know that Triple H is trying to make sure that the fans get as much bang for their buck out of the $9.99 that they're going to get from Peacock to see the Survivor Series.
It's actually $4.99.
$4.99 with ads, but $9.99 with no ads. Yeah,
exactly.
And if you think about it, It perfectly makes sense with all of the references involved. And if we're going to go by that, then we're probably both on the same page that there's a high probability that it could happen. Do I think it is going to happen? No.
There's like a good percentage chance. I know, peeps.
And the reason why I say,
Would you say it's
I'm going to tell you the reason why I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay.
They don't need him. And if it was one of those things where it was a shot in the arm, I mean, we saw what the WWE did on Tuesday from a couple of weeks ago with NXT's brand going up against AEW Dynamite, and that ratings that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And then the ratings that AEW did on Wednesday was one of its lowest rating on Wednesday in a long time. The WWE, as far as what it's doing for mind share, mainstream attention, clicks and likes on social media, they don't necessarily need CM Punk. It's more of a, you know what? If it can make us more money, we can get a little more attention, then we can go ahead and do that. I think if they're going in that route, and it wasn't the fact that CM Punk burned so many bridges, although he looks like he's been trying to mend some of those bridges. We heard about him being in Chicago during Bound for Glory weekend. We also know that he has a lot of friends in the wrestling business outside of the purview of the WWE. He has friends in the business that are in WWE. And he's been there in certain circumstances where he's been able to talk to a Triple H if he could, or other wrestlers that are there. Could it happen? Yes, it could happen. But as I said before, I think it's more of a we'll wait and see. I would love to see it. The wrestling fan in me would love to say, you know what? If Punk is there, that's the nail in the coffin. They've nailed a great 6-month run of what they can do between now and WrestleMania.
Exactly.
But is it going to happen? I'm still not going to go all in on that one. You see where I went there on that one, right?
Like
there you
exactly
go.
where you went. But peeps, if we're talking percentages, like what we say, it's kind of like WrestleMania 39 all over again, where you said 99.9% chance, but there's still that 0.1.
Yes.
Or would you say that it's much more along the lines of probably like a 90-10, 80-20?
I think it's more of a 97-3. It's still a low probability.
Steiner
but
math,
it's there you go. 90 gave you exact Steiner math. 97-3. Then that 3% chance is divided in half, depending on how much money you give somebody, and if the attention works for the advertising, and if he hasn't burned all of his bridges, and Vince McMahon is not personally involved in this whole thing, then yeah, it could happen. I really don't think it's going to happen. I think a lot of fans are setting themselves up for some kind of disappointment, just because we want it to happen. And and it also doesn't hurt that CM Punk really started this when he did that interview at that MMA show where he said, well, what are your future plans? And then he turns around and said, oh, I'll tell you in 2 months. Like, really?
Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm saying, do you really want Survivor Series to be known as like that one pay-per-view that always under-delivers when it comes to like the return of somebody? Because don't forget, we were supposed to get The Rock at Survivor Series how many months?
That is true.
Year and a half? Like,
yes. But I also implore those that are looking at the product right now, between the Judgment Day and the Bloodline and all of the ancillary players involved in both storylines. Obviously, Judgment Day is for Raw and Bloodline is for SmackDown, even though both of them kind of intersperse and jump back and forth, and they're interchangeable in certain instances where they will interact with each other, maybe for the sake of the War Games, because I think that's probably much more of a plausible option that they're going. Maybe the Bloodline has a War Games feud with a bunch of faces. Maybe the Judgment Day has a War Games match with a bunch of faces. Or maybe it's Bloodline and Judgment Day in the War Games. In any event, the attention and the mind share and the interest is there where they don't necessarily need to have CM Punk unless they decide to throw CM Punk in there as kind of like that dangling that sword of Damocles across it. Maybe he may be a determining factor as to who may win in this faction feud, if that's what they already have set. If CM Punk is going to show up, he needs to keep quiet, because the last thing you need is to make allusions to the fact that there may be a chance that he may show up on Raw. He might show up on SmackDown. Oh, wait a minute. Is that who I think is sitting in the front row of the crowd? And it's CM Punk eating popcorn with his dog Larry in his lap, with his wife sitting right next to him, waving their hands together. Yes.
I mean, there is a much more higher chance that I would see AJ Lee probably at a Royal Rumble just for like a one-off type of thing. But that's what I'm saying. The probability with Punk is just, peeps, it's off the chain. It's off the chain.
Yes.
It's insane.
It's getting the creative juices as to what you can think of storyline wise, because then you've just opened up the playbook to literally go in any direction.
That's what I'm saying, peeps. That's what I'm saying. Well, from there, ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of Fast Track. Or should I say Wrestling Crash Course? This is how stressed out we are when it comes to CM Punk. God have mercy. But when we come back, we'll go ahead and get into our questions. And then our last topic for today. And that is WWE on a whole global, bigger scale. Okay? So stay tuned. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, because the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event is coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event, episode 13. It's a phenomenal one. It's the Peeps Nature right there, of course. And then we got Taekwon in the cut saying Wrestling Crash Course similar to Flair's Plane. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we deal with on a regular Saturday. You know, I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as we are.
Yes.
But without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into our questions. Of course, guys, you know, if you want to send in a question, all you got to do is DM us on Instagram at Saturday afternoons _main event. DM the question. I guarantee it will be on the next episode of the show. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first one with Master Sean 007. He says, "Greetings, gentlemen. Let's play a game of contrast and compare. Compare and rank these 4 wrestling companies from best to worst: AEW, MLW, NWA, and TNA Impact, based on the job that their respective owners are doing." Okay, so peeps, first and foremost, you want me to go ahead and give this to you straight?
Okay, you can do that. If you want to go ahead and give your opinion first, and then I'll jump in and come on top of that with that.
Okay, great. First and foremost, I love MLW. Some of the greats that I watch now came from MLW. If you guys remember Dynasty, okay? MJF Dynasty we're talking about here, okay?
Yes.
Like, peeps, I mean, for God's sakes, you had MJF, you had Alexander Hammerstone, I think it was Grogan Gino Medina, and Richard Holiday.
Yes.
Peeps, if we look at MLW, we give MLW a good number of stars because a lot of good people have come from MLW. But sadly, I have to say, MLW is still somewhat along the lines of, okay, they're lower tier ranked. You know, what it could take for them to go ahead and hit their stride and begin to, you know, go off the bat and become bigger, I don't know. I don't know what it could possibly take. Would probably take a lot. But for what it is, I love MLW. It's no disrespect to MLW, no shade to them. But I have to start them off at 4. That's just
okay.
Third, without a shadow of a doubt, in my mind, I feel that National Wrestling Alliance is the stupidest, third at best wrestling company in the United States of America. Now look, EC3 is an NWA World Champion. I couldn't be any happier. But
Yes.
Billy Corgan, you suck. Straight like that, okay? Too conservative, too mixed in with too many politics when we're supposed to be sitting here focused on professional wrestling. Are you forgetting what he did with our former NWA World Champion? Thank God he's not World Champion anymore. But Tyus, the Freakosaurus, the
Yes.
Freakadactyl, I don't know what you
Yes.
call him. I just call him the flat bomb that you
Whatever
made.
it was
That's all it was.
bad. It was
Ah.
the I think it was the Funkadactyl. That's what it was. It was terrible.
Had the man on Fox talking about politics with the NWA World title in his hand. How polarizing can you possibly get?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
thank God. But yes, NWA hate their guts. I still love what's going on with it. I'm still glad that it's around because it's the NWA, guys. You gotta understand. Georgia roots run deep when it comes to the South. When it comes to
Yes.
phenomenal one. When
Yes.
it comes to the Peeps Nation, the National Wrestling Alliance has given us so much. So we
Yes.
have to appreciate them and say, okay, you know what? We'll put you at 3 for the solid fact that, look, it's NWA.
Yes.
Now, with this last two, based on the jobs that their respective owners are doing now, Peeps, I wouldn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this because you already know where my mind is at for real.
Yes.
But I'm sadly going to have to put TNA at 2.
Mm.
Because, of course, it's TNA. If TNA can possibly go ahead and get another TV deal, like back in the day, put themselves on Sci-Fi, put themselves on Spike, put them on a channel that is at least accessible to the United States, to other parts in the world, that can sit there and watch TNA, I would enjoy. But the history of TNA is widely margined. It's well put. We've all seen the uprise. We've all seen the downfalls. We've all been there between the ends and betweens. We've seen the Matt Hardys. We've seen the Bobby Lashley's, the Cody Rhodeses, the Eli Drakes. Dummy.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So
Yes.
we've seen it all with TNA. But then you have to look towards the larger scale of who's pulling in most of the viewership ratings, who's pulling in all the cool little deals and, you know, like incentives from different companies just to go ahead and promote their product. So, unfortunately, TNA would have to be at second. First, of course, AEW, due to the fact that, look, you can say whatever you want. You can say that, oh, they're not filling up an arena. Damn, look at that hard camp side. Of course, now they just lost to NXT this past week in the ratings. But are we really supposed to be looking at ratings right now, peeps? I mean, forget the ratings, forget the indoor attendance as of now. Okay, let's just talk business, peeps. This is a company that started in 2019.
Yeah.
From there, they have been able to pull in contracts for Edge, MJF, Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, if the chance arises. I'm hearing, Daniel Bryan, Jeff Hardy. Edge now, Christian Cage, Paul White,
Yes.
Mark Henry, any names I'm forgetting? Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Jack Swagger, Jake Hager, whatever you want to call him,
and much more.
exactly, stacked roster.
Yes.
So they pull in all these contracts, and then on top of that, to be a 4-year company and to be able to almost sell out Wembley, guys, they didn't sell them out. So anybody who wants to come for me, come see me. I'm about that, okay? 70-something thousand. 72, I think, was the real number, peeps.
Yes.
So look, for another wrestling company that isn't WWE to go into Wembley Stadium and pull out 72,000 of fans for a wrestling show, give him props where props is due. it's good business in a sense. Their owner's a bit of a he's a doozy.
He's a person. He's a human being, and we'll leave it at that.
Good one.
He's a human being.
Yes, he's a human being.
He drinks water and he eats food. There you go.
Sniff coke. You forgot that one, peeps.
I'm not gonna go there.
I had to myself. Okay, but
boy.
Yes, look, for what it is, Tony's Tony, but we have to look at AEW perspective. There's a reason I put him at 1. So that's just me. I don't know, peeps. You tell me what you think. Oh, okay. Look. Hold on, peeps. Hold on.
All right.
I was doing all of this ranking by ranking, and I saw this, peeps. You've ever heard of CTB?
CTB.
Anything back in the 90s, around that era? Back when you used to have black hair, cool little high top fade. The man used to be strutting. You used to be cool.
Yes.
You know what? I'll just give it away. See, there he goes. Look,
there you go.
Look. He gets it. Morton's Law. Christopher Morton, guys. Of course, Mr. 401.
Yes.
Salute to you, man. He says people doesn't look a day over dead.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
There we go. Yes.
Yeah, there's that. But see, he's all in tune. I didn't even pay attention to this, man. I didn't even see the comments. But hey, we appreciate you going ahead and chiming in.
Yes, thank you.
Here's what he says. He says the NWA is the waste of space and a waste of time. All the former NWA champions were rolling over in their graves. Yeah, you're not right. You're not wrong on that. Taekwon says NWA, hard R's with attitudes.
Oh boy. Okay. Let me pull out the fishing rod and reel everything in.
Is he wrong though? I'm just
okay.
Wrong. If it gotta be Ice Cube status quo like S, then he's not wrong. That's what the NWA is. But you know what? Okay, I'll just shut up. I digress.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, if we're going just by on these 4 companies, I'm gonna go. The NWA is 4th, MLW 3rd, TNA 2nd, AEW. First of all, the NWA, although they're finally after being an almost exclusive YouTube brand, they're actually going to get a network deal. They're going to be going to the CW. So even though you may have your ideas about the CW and all they show are soap operas and teenage drama and reality shows or whatever, the CW was trying to build out for their programming a sports arm, so to speak. Yeah. So they're adding this to it will kind of branch it out. So they're going to try to make the CW network a little less Arrowverse and more like a quote unquote normal network. As far as the NWA and its wrestling, its in-ring work, I like the camera work and some of the old nods to the days of being in Atlanta. They show the NWA Power show and having the way that the cameras look. It's a two camera setup with a hard camera right at the ring. They have the nation's flags around the arena to make it look like the old World Championship Wrestling from the Atlanta studios and with WCW. So that's what they're aiming at, a nostalgia angle. But the in-ring work is not as good as it could be because they have a lot of talent that really, they are who they are. So I'll put that to the side. They're not going to be making any AEW kind of money or WWE kind of money anytime soon. So we'll move that and table that one. MLW, I like MLW. Court Bauer has done a really good job with this company and making sure that there are guys in that company that can still do it. One of my favorite wrestlers that were in MLW that's no longer in the company now is Dirty Tom Lawler. I used to love watching him in the ring and some of the stuff that he would come up with, and he was hilarious. But MLW as a major minor promotion, if you understand where I'm coming from.
Yes.
They are an independent promotion that has some money backing behind them, where they kind of remind me of old school Ring of Honor, just with a little better presentation. That's what I see out of MLW, and they've done a pretty good job with that in that sense. TNA, Impact, they have a cachet like none other of these group of promotions that we're talking about, and they have a chance to maybe nip away a little bit at AEW if they continue to gain a little more momentum. The only way that that's going to happen is if they get more mainstream. And being on Access TV is not going to do anything. It's much better than when they were on Destination America, where no one was watching them. And it was them on Destination America, and then remember, if you remember, the lead-in was New Japan Pro Wrestling, which everybody loved to watch. So now on Access TV, you have Impact Wrestling for 2 hours, and then you have an hour of the American broadcast of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that works, but it's still Access TV. Not everybody has any accessibility to it readily, and even more so, it's not that great of a channel. So they would have to get a better channel and be able to get more eyeballs there so that they can start doing bigger arenas. They're not there yet. As far as looking at what they're doing with AEW, we already know AEW has the money. They have a lot going for it, but they still have to get out of their own way to kind of make sure that they're on the same par as what WWE is doing right now. If they worry about AEW and themselves and improving their product as opposed to beating WWE, they'll be much better for it, I think.
Not wrong, Pete. I'm so sorry. I was taken aback by these comments. These are, damn, you know, golly. Okay, so let's just go down the list real quick. First and foremost, Morton's Law, Jerry McDevitt, Fierce Court Bauer. Not wrong. Good times.
All right.
Good times. From there, okay, Taekwon speaking on Tony Khan. He sniffs coke and plays with action figures.
Wow.
Then he directs his attention to you, Peeps. Peeps Nate has been old since he started on the Electric Company.
Hey, you guys!
Oh, God. CW is better than Peeps' first date.
Oh, man.
He got Mary pregnant behind Joseph's back. So you're the one that put us in this hole. Thank you, Peeps. Wow. Taekwon once again. Peeps played sax in a jazz band during the Harlem Renaissance.
There you go. I gotta bring out the trumpet.
Hot Rod. NW Stay stands for. Oh, never mind. Yeah, good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice. Christopher Morton.
Yes.
Back again. Morton's Law. TNA. Next Network. P Hub.
Wow. That is funny. That is funny.
Wow. Taekwon. Peeps looks like he worked on a tobacco farm to pay for his freedom.
Okay. Wow.
What do we do with these?
Yeah. It's strong with them. And
Paul Heyman would have loved you. Paulie would have loved you.
yes.
I sense it. ECW would have ran wild if
Yes.
you had Shane Douglas, New Jack, and Taekwon Mills back in the same
Yes.
era.
Yes.
God.
You know what? Let him write for the guys at ECW and let him run their promos, and that would be perfect. That would be good.
Let him run AEW. For God's
Yes.
sake. Tony doesn't know what the heck he's doing. Put this man in, at least probably in AEW will get HLA, Peeps.
Yes.
If everybody remembers what HLA is,
Yes.
that and
Yes.
shut the hell up.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But Peeps, I could agree with your ranking, although I still don't know, like switching NWA and MLW, like, you know, together. I don't know, man, because like the NWA is the NWA. You know, that's just what it is to me. We're just gonna put it on for, like, you know, who we hate and what we don't hate. Then
Yes.
yeah, NWA would be last. But I'm just saying, we're just putting overall, like, as of now.
Yeah.
I'll have to put, you know, NWA at third. That's just me. But I can agree with it. And Master Sean 007, I hope that, you know, you appreciated the answer to our question.
Yes.
But yeah, that'd be it. But like, we appreciate the question, man. Next one comes from Hot Rod 316. He says, it seems like AEW is having problems selling out their show since the departure of, don't say his name, Oh, I will say his name, Lord Voldemort.
There you go.
I'm messing with you.
Yes.
But yeah, should Khan book his events at smaller venues to help out the impact of shows, or is this just a phase that they're going through? I feel that it's just a phase. I honestly feel that it's a phase because peeps, look. Yeah, we know AEW has been pretty bad at selling out some of their shows.
Yes.
They aren't going ahead and selling out the hard cam area, even for pay-per-views, which is a bad look.
Yes.
It sucks when you have to see Adam Copeland, a man who has been decorated of going out onto the stage and crossing over to both sides of the arena. But because he knows that it's hokey, he can't go over to the other side. Why? Because there's no fans. So, guys, look. They did pack this past week. It seemed like it was a packed house there. Of course, maybe just the lower bowl area. But, for what it was good. They put out a good showing.
Yeah.
Will it always be like that? No. But what causes it to get like this is if the product just isn't good. The product has a chance to be stellar. They have the MJF and Kenny Omega story right now where it's the 3 days. I can't say the word, guys. So, but you get where I'm coming from with this. You have the devil in the mask, not knowing who the hell it is. If it's probably Roderick Strong, just acting as if he's just, like not injured. We don't know if this can possibly be Waldo. It can be anybody, right? So you have the different storylines. You have the Christian Cage stuff, which people love as the next heel in the business. They're like, okay, you know what? Knowing that MJF is currently a tweener and he's kind of like on his face side of things, screw it. We have Christian Cage as the ultimate heel. So they have their ways of going ahead and making things pop for certain wrestling fans. For me, I'm just saying it's just a phase. Will it probably happen more often now for the rest of the year? Yeah. Will it probably happen at the beginning of the year? Yeah. But all it takes is just them actually hitting their stride. The real question I believe you should be asking, Hot Rod, is what happens if they don't? That's the real question. What happens if they don't book certain wrestlers the way that they're supposed to? What happens if Tony continues to use Twitter to his extent as some type of cash grab? What are we going to do when he chooses to continue to crap on other higher ups, or let another star go ahead and get above himself and start to run rampant around the locker room? There's so much factors, so many possibilities. It comes down to really Tony Khan. So that's just me. But as I said, it's just a phase. Peeps, how do you feel about it?
I think right now they are in kind of a weird spot where football is around, the NBA has started, the NHL has started, and Major League Baseball's playoffs are going on. The World Series just started on Friday. So you got all of these other sporting events happening in the country at this time. And not to make any excuses for AEW. AEW are booking this year the way they booked last year. And if you notice, attendance was much better last year for obvious reasons. They had CM Punk on the roster. They had a lot of other compelling storylines that were happening, and they were kind of booking a little bit differently. This year, they're booking, usually when you have to book an arena, you're booking way in advance. So whatever is happening now for next year is being booked today for, say, next November or next December. They're booking 6 months, a year in advance. So we can't really predict, depending on where they go, what is going to be the state of a particular market when they go in there, especially if the competition is doing even better. The WWE, for a very long time, they struggled to sell buildings out to the extent that they were giving away tickets and they were having problems with camera blacking out and tarping certain areas of arenas, not just at house shows, but also on television for Raw and SmackDown.
Oh yeah, I was at a show. Listen, I was at a show in Miami where they literally topped off like at least 5 to 6 different sections. Yeah,
yes. And
definitely
it's
totally
cyclical.
happens. Yeah.
It's very cyclical, and it depends on the angle that you have, the market that you're in, the territory that's going to be watching, and also what is the importance of how you build the interest into why it should make money and why people should show up. If what's happening on television is compelling enough, it won't make much of a difference if a certain game or a certain sport is in the area. The fans find enough demand to show up and go to the arena to see the product. That's something that WWE had to figure out a long time ago. But the reason why it happened is because of the competition of an AEW. AEW kind of forced them to kind of do things differently so that it can capture the attention of their audience. AEW has done that with WWE. Now WWE is in the front, and they're doing the same thing, trying to potentially get even more tickets sold for themselves, which is now forcing AEW to do something different. Are they taking those cues? Maybe they are, but it's going to take a little while for that to change and then boost themselves up. Now, are we going to see AEW going to arenas and getting 15, 16,000 on a regular basis? Of course not. That's unrealistic, and that's not how AEW has done their business. Because remember, when they started just as the pandemic was about to start in. So to get their sea legs, it took some time. And because of what they did in Wembley and what they've done in Queens when they did the Grand Slam events, and they got 25,000, 30,000 fans in the building on television, the mindset for Tony Khan is let's book bigger arenas because we're going to get that same kind of overflow. That's not happening. That's something that he's got to work on.
Exactly right. Coming back to these, Peeps got a harmonica in his shirt pocket. Peeps, do you?
That's funny. I wish I could play the harmonica. That would be kind of cool. I'd be a cool jazz player, you know?
It's like, why would it just start to just crack on you more? Jeez. More song. Jacob Fatu is still the missing piece in the bloodline, and I believe so, but Jesus Christ.
Yes.
I do not want to be at another Mania to sit there and just watch Cody about to finish the story, and out of nowhere, another guy who is not Solo Sikoa or Jimmy Uso go ahead and cost him the match, and then you have to go ahead and take it off, and it's like, Roman Reigns' distant cousin.
Yeah. I remember talking about this not that long ago, that maybe Jacob Fatu would probably be another addition to the bloodline at some point when his contract expired. So who knows? It's possible.
We'll just have to see, peeps. I'm still not sure on it. Let's see. AEW gonna be selling tickets through EBT. Take my money. I'm fine. AEW doing the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view at the Hammerstein Ballroom should be doing Dynamite or Collision there. 2,500 people there will sound like 5K elsewhere. Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, of course, it's the Hammerstein Ballroom. You know what? Tony's just not going to want to do it. Knowing Tony, he's just...
But also, I think AEW, at any opportunity that they can jump at to get into the New York market, if that's something that they can do, they should jump all over that. I mean, obviously, Ring of Honor has come there many times. I've been to a Ring of Honor pay-per-view at the Hammerstein Ballroom. I've been there when Impact was there. They can do a really good, intimate crowd and get the camera work ready. And if they do that more often, then they can get even more of a reputation where they would get more eyeballs on the product. So if anything that works to get them into the Northeast and get them into the New York market works, as evidenced by the fact that AEW just announced they're going to be doing a pay-per-view in Long Island in December called World's End. And for obvious reasons, MJF is the centerpiece of the AEW promotion. And they need to have that to make sure that people come out to see it. Because if you think about it, AEW, even though they're based in Florida, their main market has been Chicago. It has been Chicago mostly because of they started there. Their first card was there, the CM Punk connection with Chicago. But if they really want to build roots along the lines of what the WWE does in the Northeast, especially in the New York tri-state area.
Yeah.
Something like that would definitely work.
True, definitely. If they want to go ahead and pull the whole money in the bank type of snake of, yeah, my AEW contract, ends at this time. Imagine Tony just wants to actually pull a screw job within the storyline. It could work. Honestly, it really could work. We'll have to see. We'll actually have to see. Yeah. Taekwon, AEW gonna sell out West Side Elementary.
Wow.
AEW about to run shows in Peeps' backyard. AEW doing a birthday party tour.
It's capacity crowd. That's all.
On dive and funfetti cake. Jeff Jarrett gonna feud with drunk uncles across the country.
Wow.
They're gonna air AEW matches as shorts between Cartoon Network shows. AEW gonna be on Comedy Central next to Carlos Mencia.
Wow.
Mencia becomes international champion. Daniel Tosh versus MJF. Ayo Aquafina workup match with Sheeta.
Wow.
Christian calls Patrick O'Neal a dead father.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Well, he's going in today.
What a run. He did not stop. He didn't stop.
He is on a roll.
Have mercy, Taekwon. He says hot and flexible strip teases will boost attendance. This is not sunny in the 1990s, but you know what? Take my money.
I'd buy that for $1.
In the words, you'll just catch me pulling the Jerry Lawler back in the 90s. Oh my God, Jerry!
Yes. There you go.
He does the loud shriek.
Yes.
Whatever happened to the good old days?
Uh,
MJF versus the Devil at World's End. That man kind of peeps.
He might be onto something.
He kind of got a point. I mean,
the question is,
who is he?
Who's the devil?
Who is he? That's what I'm saying. So, peeps, can we just imagine? Can we just imagine for 1 second here?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You go ahead. You have MJF versus the Devil. World's End. Both clash, whatever the case may be. Devil ends up winning the match, right? And MJF is just sitting there, just like, he had me beat. Imagine sideswept takedown, just a one arm drag takedown.
Yeah.
That's the match by hitting MJF in the head with the diamond ring.
Yeah.
And then the suspense is building. You're trying to figure out what the heck is going on in peeps. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making people believe it didn't exist.
I see where you're going.
And it's Charles Montgomery, and that becomes the biggest work in pro wrestling history.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
If that happened,
you know what?
They wouldn't have to worry about trying to sell seats. The next show that they book would be sold out.
Yes, definitely. You know what? I'm probably in too deep with it. So I'll shut up. I'm just a 400-pound gorilla in the room, ladies and gentlemen.
I understand.
Oh God, AEW match is gonna be a B-roll for new stories. This man doesn't stop. Anywho, guys, this marks the end of the questions for Same.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys. We thank you guys for the questions. As we will always tell you, if you want to go ahead and send in a question, all you got to do is one thing and one thing only. DM us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoons _main event. Send in the question. It will be featured on the next episode of the show. That being said, let's go ahead and get right into the last topic. And this is titled WWE on a bigger global scale. This is going to be short. This is going to be sweet. This is going to be easy. This is going to be cake.
Okay.
So, as you see by the title, Saudi, Paris, and Berlin currency walk into a bar. Peeps, what's that? What's that number we talking about? Like, how much we talking? Because Saudi itself is already like,
yeah, we're talking a lot of that's a lot of cronuts.
then you got the city Paris, like you thinking to yourself, okay, what we doing here? Then we got Berlin, minus the Germany whole wall. Okay, no more wall, but most definitely a lot of good wrestling fans.
Yes.
Peeps, those are three places you have to say, "Yo, look, wrestling there would be cool."
Oh, of course.
So, why is it that I'm hearing Saudi gets Crown Jewel, Paris gets Backlash, and Berlin gets Bash in Berlin? Kind of like we were on a Clash of the Castle, and what they're doing on top of that.
Yes.
Putting it in the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Berlin, Germany, and it's a week after AEW All In. Peeps, what that currency looking like? Cause honestly,
Yeah.
oh shoot, I'm thinking about taking out a loan and buying the WWE. How much money are we talking here?
Yeah.
I'm trying to fill my pockets like McMahon. Yo, what?
Yes.
No, jokes aside, peeps, we have now seen WWE go to Puerto Rico. We have seen them go to London.
Yes.
We are now about to see them go to Berlin. We've seen them at Wales. We've seen them at Saudi. We're about to see them in Paris.
Yes.
Paris.
Yes.
Paris.
Yes.
We're about to see the return of Rene Dupree. Do you get how big that peeps?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yo, peeps, you got to understand, okay? We're talking Rene Dupree here.
Yes.
And don't forget the dog, okay? Fifi, okay?
Yeah.
Imagine, just saying, you know? Roman Reigns.
Fifi. Yes.
Just imagine, Roman Reigns. There's no one left for me to face, so acknowledge me. Out of nowhere, you hear the Lawrence Stuss theme song in the background. Flag comes out, Rene Dupree with Fifi just walking out.
Yes.
Yo, I know I joke around too much, guys, but this is what makes it funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, so peeps, we're now seeing WWE open up their doors to more companies, more outside the U.S. countries.
Yes.
That still hold the scale of having a lot of WWE fans.
Yes.
Australia is about to get Elimination Chamber next year.
Yes.
What's next? Do we see the Rumble happening? Like what? China? That would never happen.
That would be interesting. That would be very interesting. I'd like to see how they would swing this one.
What are we gonna see Collision in Korea again? I mean, okay,
probably not.
I know I had to shut up. Okay, yeah. But what's next? Canada? We can go to Canada.
I tell you one place that I think they should attempt. I don't know how it would help, how it would work, but it could kind of help out the community if they did a premium live event in Hawaii. I think we know that wrestling is really rich in history in the Polynesian community, especially in Fiji Islands, Tonga, Hawaii, and a lot of those places. Could you imagine them doing a premium live event in Hawaii? That would be something. Go to old Aloha Stadium and fill that place out. Get wrestling fans there. Tease that The Rock may show up. You definitely have
tease. You know how bad that would end for Hawaii. just saying. That would not end.
Yes.
But that, yeah. But still,
I think what the WWE is doing is that they're leveraging what they have, which is a product that the fans want to see. They have wrestlers and talent that the fans want to see and care about. And we know going forward that they can print money. That's literally what they're doing. They've made all of these cuts in roster and they've released a lot of these wrestlers, et cetera, et cetera. But we also know that they're making more money than any other wrestling promotion in the world right now. Let's just call it the way it is. Publicly traded IPO. They have branding. They have merchandising between. They're not necessarily having wrestlers doing movies like they used to have when they had McMahon had their own WWE studios and they're making movies, et cetera, et cetera. But there are wrestlers that are dabbling in Hollywood. But you also have T-shirts, video games, music videos, or whatever they want to do. They also have now T-shirts and all of the other toys and things that they sell. Then on top of that, the business of getting their product in front of as many eyeballs as possible, with getting the talent showcased, doing talk shows and making appearances and autograph signings, and then doing all of those other things that you can do. Also, the fact that the WWE, although they do travel internationally, they don't do it as often. So there seems to be a thirst for their product. And what they want to do now is quench that thirst as much as possible by going to Perth, Australia, by going to France, by going to a lot of other places that they would normally not do business with, including them teasing going to London for a WrestleMania, which is something that I'm pretty sure is in the back of their minds of something that they may want to do one day. Is maybe not feasible to do as of yet, because they line up the bids for particular WrestleManias similar to what they do with the Super Bowl in the NFL. So, Philadelphia for WrestleMania 40, we don't know what's going to happen for 41, 42, 43, etc. That comes along the lines of when they announce these things. But when you have the amount of money that they're doing, and give a lot of kudos to Nick Khan, he's doing a tremendous job kind of shepherding the WWE in getting these big money deals. Triple H running creative and having a say in certain things that go on with the business aspect of it. And TKO Endeavor kind of saying, this is the route that we're going. We're going to push all of our money onto the table, and we're going to invest in the fans internationally and showcase what we do best, which is entertain, showing those kinds of matches and doing those big scale events that they're used to seeing, and then making sure that they can kind of leverage the eyeballs that they get on top of the money that they're going to receive from the licensing and the network deals that they do, plus those big arenas, because they're not going to a small 10,000 seat arena. They're doing soccer stadiums. They're doing rugby stadiums. They're doing 100,000 seat arenas and open air stadiums that you would normally see a lot of other international sports in overseas. That's the market that the WWE is dealing with. When we see AEW, AEW did all of this great amount of ticket sales in London at Wembley Stadium. WWE is saying, hold my beer. And that's where they're at right now, where AEW is striving to get there. And AEW does pretty good as far as people watching their product, but they're not doing the numbers that WWE is doing, especially internationally, in arenas, big arenas, when they do house shows at big arenas and sell them out. That's where they are right now. And that's the difference between the WWE and every other company that's running a promotion today.
Definitely so. Definitely so. Well, peeps, you know what? Let's go ahead and at least hope that this opens up the door for more manias that are outside the US, because of course we haven't gotten that yet, other than other than Canada. But I mean, you know what? Let's wait on it. Because it seems like Nick Khan is now looking to really branch the WWE out. It looks like everybody's on board with that type of, saying, because it's like, if the UFC can do it, who are their business partners and their mergers, then maybe so WWE can do the same thing. So as I said, let's just wait and see. But that marks the end for today's episode of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Of course, the comments just continue to roll in as you continue to talk, peeps. And it's just, Morton's Law, Keith Lee versus Peeps Nature at World's End and Just for Men match. He's Taekwon, Berlin should be hosting Elimination Chamber based on their history. Okay, that's bro. Damn it. Okay. Come on, bro. The Phenom. Why does the Phenomenal One look hot? Peeps, that is disrespectful. Do I look like that to you? Does it look like I was on RVD paper? Peeps, just be for real.
I would say nobody gets higher then never mind.
Of course.
But I digress.
That has to be like second one of the day. But nah, trust me, I'm good. Taekwon says they're gonna have in Paris. We're gonna smoke Andre's ashes. Collision in New York happened in 01.
Good grief.
Wow, peeps. Hawaii before Africa. He has a point. He has a point. Peeps, we need water out there, bro.
Wow.
we need water. I mean, peeps, I mean, South Africa wouldn't be too bad. For the sake of Kofi Kingston, put the title on him again, for God's sake.
They could have, if they should have run shows when he was champion and did something like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Very. Yeah.
Orange Law, PLE at the Tokyo Dome. Yeah, we're gonna have.
Well, they did Beast from the East years ago in Japan. Yeah. If you remember that with Brock Lesnar, so they could definitely do a Japanese PLE.
Yeah, true. Taekwon had this to say when you were mentioning the merch sales, peeps. I'm not gonna say this out loud, so everybody here that can possibly read it can read it.
Okay.
Yeah. A third friend to do a show in Flint then. Jesus Christ.
Wow. I guess everybody's taking that thirst part a little bit too literal.
Peeps is sponsored by Colt 45. Saturday night's main event used to be an hour and a half. The show surpasses every time. We are Saturday afternoon's main event. I think you got us mixed up, bud. Yeah. You call me high though. Yeah, okay. Got you back there. Zing. Uppercut right there. Got it.
There you go.
Just kidding. But yeah. I get what you're saying. It's not our fault. We love the air. Jeez.
Yes.
Y'all, leave me. Morton's Law. Nick is the only con that matters. That is when somebody.
And you want to know something? He's 100% right at this point.
He's right. I don't blame him. He's right. Morton's Law.
There you go.
Have mercy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then of course the last 3 comments. Taekwon says AEW gonna do Mexican shows at Quinceañera.
Wow.
Yo, peeps, can you just imagine Tony coming out with a sombrero instead of the cowboy hat that he did in Canada?
Oh. What's he gonna have? And he's gonna have Thunder Rosa as the host? Like, I mean, come on.
Do the whole Brock Lesnar celebration with the WWE title. Bring out the mariachi band.
Good grief.
Forget it, man.
Yes.
Phenom. He says, I feel there's 2 people missing.
Well, there you go.
Good to know. Good. Hey, Peeps. I'm all for it. Just put it like that. Morton's Law says Peeps Nate is still a house show curtain jerker. Peeps, is that true?
We know that isn't true at all. And I don't have to dignify that with a response. Woo! There you go.
Jeez. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, shows at all ages, this truly marks the end of Same.
Yes.
The comments we just have to get through because we know how much you guys like going ahead and having your comment or, comment being, displayed on air.
Yes.
And you guys never miss at all. I don't know how you guys do it, but we enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the full-on episode. Trust me, we will be back next week to go ahead and give our predictions for Crown Jewel right before the show begins. We
1
will
o'clock.
be here.
That's crazy. I mean, considering where they're at. Yeah.
So we're just coming on the air to just do questions and the predictions ASAP, and then straight into the show. Forget Wrestling Crash Course. I'm giving you guys the heads up now.
Okay.
But still, we appreciate the support. We appreciate the love. We appreciate everything that you guys continue to do to make us feel special. Because damn, we feel good. I know
Yes.
Beast feels good because he feels like he's back in 2000. I mean 1945. Let's be
Yes,
exact.
get it right.
I'm
It's
so
1845. Just get it right.
18.
18. There you go.
BC,
Yeah.
BC or AD?
BC. Maybe BC.
Maybe BC. Got you.
I'll get back to you next week on that one.
At least we know now, guys. At least we know now.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
still, we appreciate it, guys. We thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. And as of now, this was Saturday afternoon's main event where I, the Phenomenal One,
And I, the Peeps Nate, where we came.
we saw.
And in the words of the wise man, Paul Heyman, that's it. Yeah, right. We conquered. I threw that one in there on purpose.
That's it.
Yeah.
I gotta do the Spice Adams peeps because you just have to act oblivious while you know what's actually going on. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. But ladies
There
and
you go.
gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you. We'll see you next week. It's Saturday afternoon's main event, season 6, episode 13. It's the Phenomenal One. It's the Peeps Nate. Peace, love, farewell.